So I've been reflecting for the past few months. What can I share with you rather than what I can lecture you? If I can give you one nugget that can change your life personally and professionally, what would it be? So that's what I'd like to share with you. Being raised in a Persian family, I was given limited choices. Either I can be an engineer or a doctor or nobody. So I decided to choose the first one. So when I came to state, I started studying engineering. So I took a lot of classes like you do, regardless of your major, in math, physics, chemistry, engineering, you name it. I studied a lot, did a lot of homework that I never used for the rest of my life, did a lot of papers that I don't know why I wrote those, but I had to do it because that was a part of the package. So I went back, I looked at the curriculum that every one of us gets impacted by. When you look at a bachelor's degree, on the average is about 120 credit hour. If a course is 3 to 4 hours, you're taking about 30 to 40 courses. And I make the assumption you know what you're doing, because a lot of you may change your major, so you take more classes. And if you want to do your master's degree, that would be about another 10 courses. And some of you may decide to do your PhD, even though there's a lot of research involved, but you're going to be taking some classes as well. So on the average, we're taking about 30 to 50 courses. I want you to think. I want you to reflect. How many courses do you take that the topic of the course is all about you? So wait a second. I forgot to mention something. My dream was to be a professor since I was a kid. And the reason I wanted to be a professor, I had a neighbor who dressed up all the times. He was smoking pipe, and he got the highest respect in the neighborhood. And I told my parents, if smoking is bad, why is this guy getting all the respect? They said, because he was a professor. I'm like, damn, that's what I want to be. I want to be a professor. And I'm not joking with you. That's how the whole thing started. You know what the sad news is? The sad news is, as a professor, I use 10 to 15% of my education. As a professor, I use 10 to 15% of my education. Do you know what percent of me I use every day? Think about that. I use me 24 hours a day, 100%. And the worst case is when you get married, or if you're in a relationship, you're going to find out she's a lot smarter than you, in my case. And you can't even understand that part of it. They never taught us how to listen. That's why, especially men, we can hear, but we don't listen well. So 4 years of college, 4 years of studying, 4 years of, sleepless night. What am I missing here? Took me a long time to figure that out. So what I'm going to share with you is a current mindset. The mindset that we have is actually the root cause problem for the way we live. So what exactly is the mindset? The mindset that we have is what I refer to as do. We do a lot of work. We do a lot of studies. We do a lot of classes. We do a lot. The reason we do all of that is eventually we have a job, we have a family, we have a big house, we have a nice car, we have money, and the reason we do that is eventually to be happy, to be content, to have impact. I see some of your parents here in this room, and I don't want to embarrass anyone, but if you ask your parents, a lot of them are not happy with their job. They did their job just to pay the bills. They did their job just to make sure you have a better education and a better life. So you don't need to blame them. My challenge to you as a next generation of leaders in our country is to consider the following mindset. So rather than do, have, be, run like rats, work 18 hours a day, stay up 3-4 nights, I want you to reevaluate your paradigm. So what I'd like to propose to you is a little shift in the mindset that changed my life personally and professionally. And the question is, what do I want to be? And that's a hard question to have an answer. When you're 18 to 22, you may not have an answer for that. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to. But you can think. What do I want to be? I want to be a great human being. I want to be a great husband. I want to be a great friend. I want to be a great father. I want to be an outstanding engineer. I want to be a great doctor. I want to be a good accountant. I want to be an artist. I want to be a dancer. Regardless of what you want to be, then you can go ahead, focus on doing what you want to do. If I love what I'm doing, then it's not work anymore. So if I know what I want to do, then I can do that, and I'm spending hours and hours, is worth it. The have will eventually come. Even if it doesn't come, I'm happy with what I want, because my paradigm about the whole world started early on. Rather than I get a job, I get fired, I have a house mortgage, you go through a couple, family divorces, and then you find out, why am I so miserable? So my challenge to you is reevaluate your mindset. What is your mindset? The previous speaker, Allison, is the best example, and I met her yesterday, is the best example of a young lady who has the right mindset. She could be a lawyer and make a lot of money and chase ambulances, and other people. But she decided not to do it. She decided, to go ahead, dedicate her life to something, of value. Every one of you as Aggies, you have that responsibility. In my case, I got into this paradigm through actually understanding and learning more about emotional intelligence. I even created a course that I teach engineering students about emotional intelligence. Now, I get a lot of, crap because of that. They say that's oxymoron, but not in College Station, Texas. Because here, we make leaders who are engineers. Our focus is on leadership development. We make leaders in agriculture. We make leaders in political science. We make leaders in nutrition. So that's a different level of mindset. So what exactly is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is recognizing, understanding your own emotion and of others for three reasons. For three reasons, simple reasons. How do you motivate yourself? As a student, we all have days that it is hard to motivate yourself. A lot of us, we live in a society that we look outward. We're looking for incentive from outside to motivate us. It's called extrinsic motivation. My challenge to you is intrinsic motivation. I can internally motivate myself. What drives me to do what I do and to do an excellent job? The second aspect of emotional intelligence is managing emotion well in myself. Obviously, all of you look so calm right now. But if you are under the halt state, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, stressed out, you will be reacting a little differently. I promise you, we all have. We're human. You're human, we have emotion. And the third aspect is, how do you build relationship? I'm not talking about superficial relationship. I'm talking about deep, profound relationship. The model that I'm sharing with you is from Daniel Goleman, relatively a simple model. It's being divided between self, interpersonal, and others, intrapersonal. And the reason this is important, the reason that I'm sharing it with you, there's a lot of neuroscience in the past 10 years that actually backs up what I'm sharing with you. Your emotion has direct impact on your thinking. And your thinking has a direct impact on your behavior. What do people see? Do they see your thoughts? No, they don't. Do they see your emotion? No, they don't. The only thing they see is your behavior. You're being judged based on your behavior. So my challenge to you is, you want to change your behavior? You got to change your thoughts. So I can change even my emotion by changing my thoughts. Keep that in perspective. It's a powerful tool. It's very powerful. The second aspect of the model is, okay, I'm aware of myself. I'm aware of the emotion. I have the knowledge. Now, what am I doing about it? That's the self-management aspect of it. Those two leads into social awareness. Social awareness is really understanding others. It's beyond listening to words. It's really understanding them on an emotional level. And that's what we refer to as empathy. Empathy is actually trying to be in somebody else's shoes and feeling them. You don't have to agree with them, but being able to be there and understand them. Both of those come into relationship management. That's what's visible to a lot of people. That's where the emotional intelligence and social intelligence come together. So self-awareness, I mentioned, is about knowing your emotion, knowing, that emotion is going to impact the way you think, and believe it or not, it's going to impact your behavior. Do you understand your biases? We all have biases. But being aware of those biases and being able to manage those biases is extremely powerful. I'm sure it probably has happened to some of you, or I may be the only person in this room. You're driving on a highway, somebody cuts you off and flip a finger. How would you react? Some people say, I send a kiss. That's brilliant. A lot of us at a younger age, we don't act that way. We curse, we scream, we yell, we tailgate. And if you have kids in the car, you go home at night, the kids are learning a new language. A language that you don't like to hear, but your kids at age 2, they picked up interesting language. And you ask your spouse, where the heck did the kid learn that language? And it was from you. Because everything starts with you. And you can manage it and lead it. So you got to be accountable and responsible. So under stress, sometimes we act like animals. You got to be very, very cautious of that. The other thing is, how do you motivate yourself? The days you're not motivated, the days you don't want to do it. I'm an engineering student, I hate differential equation. Well, the fact is, pass it. Change your major. No, I love engineering. So how do I motivate myself? The motivation factor is, maybe this helps me somehow. Maybe it does. Maybe it's a little hard right now, but if I study, it makes it a lot easier. This is the hard part, listening. Every company I work with, the biggest problem they have with their team is effective communication. Every challenge marriage activity people I talk to, the biggest challenge they have is effective communication. So what is it that we don't communicate? Why is it so hard to listen to somebody else? Not just listen. Listen with the intent to really know where they're coming from and what they're saying, which is completely different. And that's what I said I refer to as empathy. I love this poem from a Persian, poet. It is in the United Nations on the wall. It says, human beings are members of a whole in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is inflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human, you can't pertain. You know what I call this? I call it Aggie spirit. This was written 900 years ago. 900 years ago. The fact is, you're not alone anymore. We're all connected. A kid, in Siberia, in China, in Africa, downtown Bryan, is being impacted, by pain. It's our responsibility to respond to it. That's what social awareness is. And again, we're very, very good at it. And the last aspect of it was relationship management. Building a bridge, being there, dealing with issues, and bringing the better version of your team, your people. So the challenge is, what is your version 2.0? Can I be better than what I am right now? And how can I get better? So I want you to be present. I want you to bring your mind to this room, because your mind has a mind of its own. A lot of us, we agonize about the past, what we have done wrong and what we could have done better. Spending too much in the past brings depression. Some of us, we worry too much about the future. Worrying too much about future actually brings anxiety. We see it all over higher education with our students. High level of anxiety, getting ready for medical school, getting ready for law school, getting ready for exam. This is a powerful tool that I'd like to share with you. Try to be in the present moment. And the easiest way to do is what God has given you, is right under your nose, is breathing. Use breathing, to actually bring your attention to the present moment. Most of us, we don't pay any attention to breathing, right? Isn't it true? And the best part is the day you don't have to worry about it, all your problem will be solved. Not funny, but it's true. So I want you to pay attention to breathing. The most important gift on this planet is breathing. Just pay attention to it. It's a life-changing event. From a neuroscience perspective, it actually soothes your amygdala. That's your emotional brain. So you act more like a human, an intelligent human. Not only cognitively intelligent, but also emotionally intelligent human. So I can be calm, or I can try to actually calm my amygdala, my emotional brain. The way I have done it, I'm going to end my presentation with a technique of mindfulness. Most of us, we have mindful, not mindful. What exactly is mindfulness, you may ask? Mindfulness is to really pay attention with intention to three things. Your mind, what am I thinking right now? My emotion, my feelings, how am I feeling right now? Because they tell me a lot about myself. And then my body, which provides a lot of information about the situation that I'm in. One more time. Can I go ahead, pay attention with intention, not just pay attention. Pay attention with intention on my thoughts, feelings, and body. With that in mind, I conclude, my presentation. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.